Abilities in games are straight up crazy. They let you flip a fight on its head, turn a 1% chance of survival into a full squad wipe, and they make you feel like an absolute legend. Being good in a game with abilities takes big brain plays. You gotta think ahead, time your abilities right and play smart. Or, you could just dump your entire ult on somebody who slightly annoyed you, because screw them. Now here's the thing, in VR abilities are criminally underutilized. In VR you could do so much more than in flat screen games. This doesn't just apply to whatever this is, but also abilities. Imagine you got a freaking drone swarm at your command. In a normal boring flat screen game, they would just kinda yeet themselves in whatever direction you're looking. Like, wow, so much skill. But in VR, you can actually guide them with your hands like some kind of futuristic space wizard. Pure motion controlled destruction. If you wanna see what this looks like, you gotta stick around to the end. Flat screen games could only dream of matching this if they added an extra stick and thumb. How sick could the plays be? Insane. The only way to make this even cooler would be if the game could literally read your mind. But VR isn't quite there yet.
Well, you're in luck. Virus and I are cooking up our own VR game and we're going all in on our big brain vision. Think Titanfall, but in VR, and made by two dudes with a dream and a lovely community. In this game, you, yes you, assuming you have a headset and are an Ascension AI, will fight alongside your own massive mech buddy. Together, you wreck enemy teams in full-blown high-speed combat. These mechs, called Wavebreakers, are absolute units. Each will have their own badass themes and abilities. So yeah, it's gonna be sick. In this video, we will make not just one full Wavebreaker variant, not 3, but 2. Stick around to the end to find out what these 2 variants are themed around. The second variant will be very experimental. We hope you like it.
Alright, let's actually put in the work and get these abilities into the game. And what better ability to start with than by adding a massive powerful laser as a first ultimate. Step 1. Create a cube. This cube will be your placeholder laser until we replace it with something cooler. But don't tell it that. We now point the laser where we're looking at. And this isn't right. You cube, you're getting replaced ASAP. That was actually our fault. Anyway, our laser is now a functioning killing machine. In fact, it is even a little too functional. Why is it doing 1,000,000 damage per second? Am I even recording? Yeah. We may or may not have been dividing the laser damage by the time between frames. This explains why at 100 FPS we are doing 10,000 damage per frame instead of just 100 each second. Oops. Anyway, we fixed it, but the cube refuses to work with us anymore due to a hostile work environment and a need to cleanse itself of the sins it has committed? Whatever, if it even thinks about talking shit, we will sue. Sadly for us, this means that we will need to look for a new model now. For this, we will of course use the Unity visual effects system. We simply spawn some particles, then the GPU does something with them, and boom, we have cool rays. This thing can only be described as 1,000 lightning hitting the same place at once, not as much like a laser, so screw it, we are making an Electro mech now. Let's jump into VR and see how it looks, and we don't have any way to activate the ability. Luckily, Ados came to the rescue with an amazing model for one of the Wavebreaker variants. Now, his model has a joystick while ours doesn't, so I'ma just yoink it for now and force it into our variant. Each Wavebreaker will have 4 abilities, a passive ability, 1 ability on the left, 1 on the right and 1 ult. Some abilities could be activated by movement, or how you might say hitting an emote. But for now, you activate the left ability by clicking the left ability button, the right ability by, you guessed it, the volume button. Nah, I'm kidding, the right button. The volume button was tempting though, wasn't it? The ultimate can be activated by pressing both buttons together. Now back to a laser, lightning strike, whatever the hell it is. We can finally activate it on my eyes, it's so bright. Looking directly at the sun, wherever you look, is a minor inconvenience when you don't want that? To fix this, we were inspired by sunglasses. Whenever the lightning strike is activated, we simply dim the display to protect our pilot, and these colors look gorgeous.
Alright, one ability isn't enough. We need more. So next up, a giant energy ball of pure violence. This bad boy electrocutes anything in its path, but instead of just gliding forward like some basic ass ball, it stops dead in its tracks when an enemy enters its range. This is a totally original idea, by the way. I hope this will catch some players by surprise. Not you though, you'll remember this. We also asked our Discord members for a name, and for a while it looked grim. We thought no one had anything. But then Freddy actually dropped some heat, so we will call it Storm Shot.
For the passive ability, we decided to electrify the hull, which 1. Looks fucking sick, 2. Acts as a defensive ability, forcing players to hurry when they get close to you, and 3. Did I mention it looks fucking sick? Now figuring out which entity should get deep fried was somehow way harder than expected. But that process was boring as hell, so let's just skip to the part where it works now. Bonus feature, if your team is nearby, the ability will recharge their shields too. This thing is basically a walking Tesla coil and I love it.
Our defensive ability is called Energy Surge, and what it does, it gives you the Energy Surge. You ask, what is the Energy Surge? An ability we just added, but basically, this thing just cranks up your mech's power. It boosts all your energy weapon damage, including the Storm Shot and the hull electrification we just added. But we're not stopping there. In the future, it's also gonna supercharge the Wavebreaker's motors, meaning more acceleration, more speed, more pain. If you land a punch, it's gonna hit like a truck. This isn't just an ability, it's a buff for violence. It would have been too easy to leave it at just one Wavebreaker variant for this video. So we made a second one. This one isn't about brute force, it's about outsmarting, outplaying and outtacking your enemies. Think of it like the F-35 of mechs. It's the Hivemind of your team. On its own, kind of fragile. But in the hands of the right team, it controls the entire battlefield. This thing is built for strategic dominance. While the other mechs are out there throwing hands, you're always 2 steps ahead, turning fights before they even begin.
So what do we mean by Hivemind? Simple, this mech sees everything. Every teammate automatically broadcasts enemy positions directly to this Wavebreaker. With this you will get a sweet overlay showing you where all the enemies and teammates are. Yeah, the passive ability is literally just wall X. But don't get too comfy, you only see what your teammates see. If nobody has eyes on an enemy, they're invisible to you. So if you're ever unsure if somebody is behind a wall, well, just sacrifice little Jimmy and tell him to check, for the team. This makes the high-tech Wavebreaker a more strategic pick. You can either help your team with callouts, or just straight up lie to them if you want, it's really up to you.
For the ult of this variant, we wanted something explosive. So we thought that we might as well just strap some C4 to a drone and give the player a swarm of them. First, we created this incredibly detailed model for a drone. Ah yes, perfection. Then we wrote a proximity explosion script. Now we just need a way to spawn and control the drones. Yeah, this works great. You can now spawn them, fly them towards your targets and watch them disintegrate everything once they explode. Lovely. Sadly, we had to ditch our super detailed Unreal Engine 5 ready drone model. It just doesn't run well without nanite. So we fired our blender and quickly made our own drone model. Ta-da!
For the defensive ability we already had a rough idea. We tried out a light bending shield a while back, but it felt a little too obvious and honestly kind of underpowered. So we scrapped that and came up with something way cooler. Now this Wavebreaker is covered in screens, and when you activate the ability, these screens turn into an active Camo that display the world behind them. To implement this, we just yoinked the shield material and slapped it onto the Wavebreaker. Now this is great for sneaking up on people, but it's still too easy for enemies to track you if they already knew where you were. So we needed something to distract them. We briefly thought about using smoke, you know, a classic, but then we had a perfect idea for the next ability.
What better way to cause confusion than with an inverted hologram projection that hides everything behind it? Here's how it works. Each drone has a camera on one side and a projector on the other side. The camera captures the scene behind it and projects it in front of itself. It's perfect for confusing enemies and getting away undetected. Plus, it also looks really cool.
You might be thinking, wow, that's a ton of cool stuff, surely that's enough for the next video. Well, we don't have such a good feel of when to stop, so we also went ahead and made an entirely new model for this Wavebreaker variant. Its centerpiece is this Radar Dome inspired Radar Dome. These hatches can open to unleash drones like a mechanical beehive of destruction. It's got massive pistons to move its limbs. The cockpit design is also completely different. Since this mech is all about spatial awareness, we gave it a full 360-degree screen, powered by high resolution cameras, so the pilot has a complete view of the battlefield at all times. Now, please take a moment to appreciate this hard shot. Lastly, huge thanks to all of you who joined us on this wild journey. We would love to hear what you think about everything we showcased in this video. Your comments and feedback keep us going. Seriously, they really motivate us. A special shout out to our Patreon supporters. We honestly didn't expect so many of you to support us this much. Also, huge thanks to everyone who suggested names for the first map. We ran a poll on our Discord server and well, it ended in a draw. Because all of the suggestions were just that good. Guess we will just have to flip a coin or something.
So we fired our blender. It stops dead in its track.
This expands by at, I forgot the numbers. Expands by at 200. This expands by at 1. The fuck.